call for the resignation or removal of Commissioner Smithson. As stated in the HRC Rules of Procedure, the Commission's purpose shall be to aid and advise City Council in ensuring for all citizens of the city equal opportunity in those areas protected by law. As Commissioners, you are required to abide by the Minnesota Human Rights Act, which includes 13 legally protected classes. 2 of those are creed and religion, defined as follows. Creed is a belief system. A creed is very important to the person who believes it. Creed is like a religion, but it does not have to involve God or gods. Religion, a set of beliefs, values, practices based on the teachings of spiritual leaders. Religion involves a God or gods. My faith in God carries me through everything I do. From parenting to voting, my deeply held belief system is very apparent. I'm very vocal about my creed as well as my religious beliefs in person and on social media. Commissioner Smithson has used her public platform to violate the human rights of not only me, but fellow conservatives, police officers, and activists in this community. Last year, I hosted a Back the Blue celebration to honor our outstanding police. Bloomington residents overwhelmingly believe that our police are good and deserve to be celebrated. I obtained all the lawful permits and we hosted our event at Civic Plaza. I had the right to peacefully assemble, which is exactly what we did. Instead of joining with residents to celebrate our police, Commissioner Smithson used her First Amendment rights to encourage, promote, and participate in a violent counter-protest against us. This consisted of a march directly to our event to spew hateful rhetoric and incite violence. I was physically assaulted, and there were multiple videos that document the aggressive nature of the crowd that day. During a subsequent exchange online, several of those counter-protesters were commenting on a photo of me. Commissioner Smithson gave them my name and proceeded to make fun of me with her internet husband, as she calls him, Jonathan Collins. I commented on how inappropriate it was for a human rights commissioner to be making fun of me. She never replied or apologized, and at last check, her comments still remain on that thread over a year later. Commissioner Smithson, you giving Antifa activists my name directly triggered a year's worth of doxing, harassment, stalking, and threats to my family and physical violence. You gave them my name without a care in the world for my human rights, my safety, and my sense of security in this community. I've had my personal information posted on social media. I've had my home address shared on Antifa Twitter accounts worldwide. I've had flyers dispersed throughout my neighborhood telling people I'm a white nationalist and the only way to rid the community of me is through direct confrontation. I've had my house vandalized. I've had grotesque items sent to me in the mail. I've had my tires slashed. I've been ambushed and I've been assaulted. Commissioner Smithson's internet husband and friend, Donovan, has made fake internet personalities to harass and try to humiliate Bloomington residents. Since January, he has tweeted about me alone 4,000 times. And I've never met the guy, nor do I communicate with him. Her friend stalks people, puts out personal information, including their home addresses, and posts content I consider to be sexual harassment. Aside from her internet husband, Commissioner Smithson's social media accounts show she associates and communicates regularly with many of the same Antifa anarchists who have proudly violated my human rights for the last year. Commissioner Smithson has engaged in public social media conversations that are meant to harass, humiliate, and degrade me based on my creed and deeply held beliefs. The gossip and slander she participates in amongst her friends on public platforms is not only disparaging to me, but embarrassing to the city of Bloomington. In a recent live tweet from a city council meeting, Smithson again put out the name of fellow Bloomington resident Andy Poole. She then proceeded to make fun of him for the concerns he raised during public comment. I can only hope Commissioner Smithson's friends and allies don't attack him and his family the way they did mine. Behavior like this is truly appalling for someone who claims to value human rights. From calling her back the blue fascist radicalization to sympathizing with known domestic violence extremists, Commissioner Smithson has never once recognized or been remorseful for the disservice and harm she's done to not only me, but this community, and only doubling down on her hatred, refusing to leadership. Every commissioner is tasked with ensuring that all citizens are treated equally and according to the Minnesota Human Rights Act, as stated in your rules of procedure. I am a Christian woman, a mother, a daughter, friend, resident of Bloomington, and an American citizen. I deserve to have my human rights protected just as much as everyone else. And by continuing to ignore and dismiss the numerous complaints against Anita Smithson, you are affirming that the Bloomington Human Rights Commission does not equally protect all citizens here in Bloomington, only the ones whose creed or deeply held beliefs align with their own. If this is the case, as a taxpayer-funded entity, the Human Rights Commission should be immediately re-examined by residents and council members to ensure its commissioners are properly represented in the community they were